In a pulse, Mia's world smashed her late mother's cherished accessory. Her as it were remembrance was tore separated by brutal bullies in a schoolyard trap. But they didn't know Mia's mystery. She's a dark belt with a fire interior her. Observe her unleash equity in a jaw-dropping confrontation. Subscribe presently for more epic stories of boldness and comeuppance that'll take off you dumbfounded. Mia Thompson was no stranger to torment, but nothing cut more profound than the memory of her mother's non-attendance. At 17, she carried the weight of misfortune like an imperceptible rucksack, overwhelming with melancholy, but undetectable to the world. Her mother, Lily, had kicked the bucket 3 a long time prior in a car mischance, taking off Mia with a single souvenir, a sensitive silver accessory with a tear pendant carved with a little Lil. It was her mother's favorite, worn ordinary until the conclusion. Mia never took it off. It was her armor, her association to a lady whose chuckling still reverberated in her dreams. At Jefferson Tall, in a little Ohio town, Mia kept to herself, her calm mien mixed up for shortcoming by those who flourished on brutality. The inconvenience begun on a fresh harvest time evening, the kind where the disgust smells of fallen clears out and the sky may be a sharp, unwavering blue. Mia was crossing the schoolyard, her head down, earbuds in, tuning into her mother's favorite tune, Avalanche. She didn't take note the trio of young ladies Haley, Chloe, and Madison until they blocked her way. They were the rulers of Jefferson Tall, their ubiquity built on creator dress and a skill for tearing others down. Haley, the ringleader, had a grin that might cut glass. "Hello, vagrant young lady," she scoffed, her voice stumbling with poison, still clinging to that revolting accessory. "What's it made of?" "Thrift store waste." The other young ladies snickered there, voices a refrain of joke. Mia's hand impulses went to the pendant, her fingers following the recognizable shape. She said nothing, her heart beating, and attempted to step past them, but Chloe got in her arm, yanking her back. "Chance. Do not disregard us." "Crack," Chloe said, her nails burrowing into Mia's skin. Madison ventured closer, her eyes glimmering with noxiousness. "Let's see that garbage up near." Sometime recently, Mia might respond. Haley grabbed the accessory, the chain snapping with a sickening break. Mia's breath caught as Haley dangled the pendant, the silver catching the daylight. "Uh-oh," Haley said, her voice McKinney's. "Figure it's as useless as your mother was." The words hit Mia like a punch, but sometime recently, she may thrust, Haley hurled the accessory to the ground and stepped on it. The pendant broken, the lily etching part in two. The young ladies snickered and strolled absent, taking off Mia on her knees, gathering the broken pieces, tears burning her eyes. Mia didn't tell anybody what happened. Not her father, who worked twofold shifts at the manufacturing plant and scarcely had vitality to conversation. Not her best companion, Sam, who would have raged after the young ladies himself. Certainly not the instructors, who continuously appeared as well active to care. In step, she went domestic, bolted herself in her room, and pieced the accessory back alongside temperamental hands and superglue. It wasn't idealized. The break was still obvious. A scar over the lily, it was entire once more. As she clasped it around her neck, something moved interior her. The melancholy that had stewed for a long time bubbled into seethe. Ow! She wasn't fair MIA, the calm young lady who misplaced her mother. She was MIA, the dark belt who'd went through a long time preparing in Taekwondo, channeling her torment into exactness and control. Her mother had enlisted her in classes when she was 8, saying, "Quality isn't fair in your muscles. Mia, it's in your heart." Presently, that quality was wakeful. Bullet the another day at school, Mia strolled with reason, her normal slump gone. How she wore the patched jewelry straightforwardly, a noiseless challenge. Haley, Chloe, and Madison taken note quickly, their grins floundering when they saw the fire in her eyes. They didn't approach her within the patio once more, but Mia knew they weren't done. Bullies like them never were. Beyond any doubt sufficient, during lunch, they cornered her within the corridor, closed the exercise center, where the cameras were helpfully broken. Haley inclined in, her breath hot with peppermint gum. "You think sticking that junk back together makes you extreme?" Still nothing. Chloe pushed Mia against the divider, and Madison got in for the jewelry once more. This time Mia was prepared. Bullet. In one liquid movement, she turned out of Chloe's hold, her taekwondo preparing kicking in like muscle memory. She blocked Madison's hand with a quick lower arm strike, then spun, planting a controlled kick to Chloe's shin. Not difficult sufficient to break anything, but enough to create her lurch. Haley jumped, but Mia evaded, snatching Haley's wrist and turning it fair sufficient to form her howl. The young lady solidified, dazed. Mia's voice was moo, unfaltering. "Touch me once more and you'll lament it." She let go of Haley's wrist and strolled absent, her heart dashing but her steps calm. The passage was noiseless, but Mia knew this wasn't over. Bullies do not back down, they heighten. Bullet that evening, words spread like rapidly spreading fire. By final period, half the school was whispering almost how Mia had gone ninja on the well-known young ladies. Sam, her thin, freckled companion with enthusiasm for comedian books, caught up with her after lesson. "Man, did you really take down Haley and her minions?" he inquired, his eyes wide. Mia shrugged, her fingers brushing the jewelry. "I fair halted them," Sam smiled. "You are a freaking superhero, Mia, but watch out. Haley's got a brother, Jake. He's a senior, plays football, and he's terrible news." Mia gestured, her jaw tight. She wasn't trying to find a battle, but she wasn't running from one either. Asterix, the striking back, came speedier than Mia anticipated. That evening, as she strolled domestic through the stop, Jake and two of his football buddies blocked her way. Jake was built like a tank, his Letterman coat extended tight over his shoulders. He'd listened around the corridor occurrence and wasn't delighted. "Do you think you'll be able to mortify my sister and walk absent?" he snarled, venturing closer. His companions flanked him, their smiles reflecting Haley's. Mia's beat animated, but her preparing kept her unfaltering. She filtered her environment and limit way. Trees on either side, no one around. Culminate for ensnare. "I didn't begin this," she said, her voice calm, "but I'll wrap up it in the event that I got to." Asterisk Jake chuckled, breaking his knuckles. Huge words for a small young lady. He swung a clenched hand, but Mia was quicker. She ducked, her body moving like water, and conveyed a sharp kick to his knee. Jake faltered, reviling, but his companions were on her in seconds. One got in her arm, the other pointed, a messy punch at her confront. Mia turned free, her developments exact. A long time of competing directing her. She blocked the punch, then landed a palm strike to the moment guy's chest, thumping the wind out of him. The primary fellow came at her once more, but she cleared his legs, sending him to the ground. Jake recuperated, charging like a bull, but Mia sidestepped and utilized his force to toss him over her hip. He hit the earth difficult, moaning, bullet, breathing intensely. Mia stood over them, her jewelry flickering within the blurring light. "Remain down," she said, her voice like steel. The boys didn't move, their egos bruised more than their bodies. Mia strolled absent, her hands trembling, but her resolve unshaken. She didn't need to harm anybody, but she wouldn't let them break her mother's memory once more. Mark. The following morning, Mia's life took another unforeseen visit. Turn. As she sat in her room, still reeling from the stop battle, there was a thump at the entryway at R. Her father replied, and Mia caught a recognizable voice. Coach Daniels, her taekwondo educators from a long time prior. Sometime recently, she'd exchanged dojus. Inquisitive, she ventured into the living room where Coach Daniels stood, his graying facial hair and warm eyes unaltered. He wasn't alone. With him was a young lady Mia enigmatically recognized from school. Leela, a calm junior who continuously sat alone within the cafeteria. Coach Daniels clarified that Laya had drawn nearer him after seeing the viral video of Mia's battle. "She's got something to tell you," he said, his voice genuine. Leela wriggled, her dull hair falling over her confront as she talked. "I saw what Haley did to your accessory," she said, "and I know something around her family." Mia's stomach turned as Leia uncovered a mystery. Haley's father, a well-off businessman, had been included in shady bargains, counting bribing nearby authorities to cover up mischances. Laya's more seasoned brother had worked for him briefly and caught a discussion almost a hit-and-run 3 a long time prior, the same crash that murdered Mia's mother. Laya had been as well frightened to talk up until Mia's mettle motivated her. I recorded him talking almost at once, Laya whispered, pulling out her phone. It's not much, but it might offer assistance. The sound was grainy, but Mia caught a title, Haley's Don measurement of that mishap on course 17. It was her mother's crash. Mia's blood ran cold. Coach Daniels set a hand on her bear. You're not alone in this, Mia. I've got contacts with the police, and Ila's willing to affirm. We'll get equity. Mia gestured, her fingers clutching the jewelry. Presently, an image of more than her mother's cherish. It was a call to reveal the truth. Allie's startling union gave Mia a start of trust, but too an unused fear. In case Haley's family was this effective, the battle was distant from over. She expressed gratitude toward Leela, who advertised a modest grin, and Coach Daniels, who guaranteed to stand by her. As they cleared out, Mia felt a surge of assurance. She wasn't fair battling bullies presently. She was battling for her mom's bequest, and she had partners she never anticipated. By the following morning, the story had exploded. Someone within the stop had shot the battle on their phone, and the grainy video was all over social media. Dark Belt Young Lady Rex Bullies shouted the captions. At school, Mia was a conundrum, a saint to a few, a target to others. Haley and her team kept their distance, their faces pale with a blend of fear and wrath. But the consideration came with a fetched. The Vital called Mia into his office, his expression terrible. The video had come to the school board and Jake's guardians were debilitating to press charges. You're fortunate no one was truly harmed, the foremost said. We can't have vigilantes in our corridors. You're suspended for a week. Mia's heart sank, but she didn't contend. She'd known there'd be results. At domestic, her father was holding up, his confront a blend of stress and pride. Mia, why didn't you let me? No, he inquired, his voice delicate. She appeared him the broken accessory, the stick holding it together. They attempted to require her from me, she whispered. Her father pulled her into an embrace. The primary in months. Your mother would have been pleased, he said. Ow! But let's handle this the correct way presently. The suspension gave me a time to think. She didn't lament standing up for herself, but the aftermath was greater than she'd anticipated. The video had gone viral and outsiders were commenting, a few calling her a badass, others saying she was a hooligan. Sam appeared up at her house with pizza and he arranged. We have to tell your side, he said. Individuals are making stuff up. Make a video clarifying what happened. Mia faltered. She despised the highlight, but she despised the lies more. They recorded a basic video, Mia holding the jewelry, her voice relentless as she clarified her mother's passing, the bullying, and why she battled back. Sam posted it online and it spread quicker than the battle video. Mark. The reaction was overpowering. Messages poured in from kids who'd been bullied, guardians who'd misplaced somebody, indeed a Taekwondo teachers advertising Mia a grant to a national preparing program. But there was a turn Mia didn't see coming. Haley's mother, an attorney, reached Mia's father, advertising a bargain. Drop any potential countercharges and they'd pay for the accessory to be professionally repaired. Mia didn't believe it, but her father persuaded her to meet. At the assembly, Haley was there, her eyes dejected. I didn't know approximately your mother, she muttered, her voice scarcely capable of being heard. I'm too bad. Mia didn't accept her. Haley's statement of regret felt constrained, a script to spare confront. But when the jeweler returned, the jewelry cleaned and entire, Mia felt a weight lift. It wasn't almost Haley's words, it was almost her mother's memory. Unbroken bullet. The story didn't conclusion with expressions of remorse or repaired pieces of jewelry. Back at school, Mia had taken note a move. Kids who disregarded her sometime recently presently gestured within the corridors. A gather of first-year recruits begun a bullying mindfulness club propelled by her video. Jake and his companions dodged her, their bravado gone. But the greatest bend came a month afterward when Mia got a letter from a legal counselor, not Haley's mother, but a stranger. It was almost her mother's mischance. The letter claimed modern proof had surfaced, proposing the crash wasn't a mischance, but a hit and run by a driver who'd never been caught. Mia's heart dashed as she perused the points of interest. A witness had come forward, impelled by Mia's viral story, claiming they saw a truck coordinating one claim by a neighborhood businessman, a man whose girl went to Jefferson. Howdy, Haley's father. Reference bullet Mia's world tilted once more. Was it conceivable the bullying wasn't arbitrary? That Haley focused on her sense of a darker mystery? Mia didn't have confirmation, but she had her mother reinforced her claim. She took the letter to her father, who reached an attorney companion. "We'll get answers," he guaranteed. Mia gestured, clutching the jewelry. She wasn't fair battling for herself any longer. She was battling for Lily. Bullet. As the examination started, Mia returned to Taekwondo. Her kick more honed, her center unbreakable. The dojo got to be her haven, the accessory, her charm. She didn't know what long-term held, equity, closure, or more fights, but she was prepared. The young lady who'd once covered up within the shadows was gone. In her put stood Mia, Thompson, dark belt survivor and a constrained no bully seam break. Wow, what a ride. Mia's story of courage and equity is fair the starting. Subscribe for more epic stories that hit difficult and motivate. Drop a comment underneath. Where within the USA are you observing from? Let's see how distant this story voyages. If this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe for more true tales of courage, sacrifice, and resilience. Like the video if Maria's journey inspired you. Comment below, what would you do if you were in her place? Share this with someone who needs to be reminded that even when the world turns its back, one voice, one act of courage can change everything. Stay tuned, because sometimes the stories the world tries to silence are the ones that echo the loudest.